Hello, hello, and welcome where the stove is still not hot. And it's episode 51 of Cold Beers and Curveballs. I am Chase Almy.
And I'm his co-host, Corey Stevens.
And we are here at the new home for the 2019 season of Cold Beers and Curveballs, Doghouse Beer Garten. I believe that is the correct pronunciation in Richardson, Texas, off of 75 and Spring Valley Road.
Yeah, that's right. Doghouse is a great place to get, look at that, 20 beer taps?
I believe it's 26 craft beers.
26 craft beers on, well, if you're going to call Modelo a craft beer. We just got to stretch the definition for a couple, but over 20 craft beers. We got a lot of local options, full bar, and a shit ton of hot dogs,
sausages,
and brats, and burgers, and sweet potato fries, and you name it.
Best fucking onion rings I've had in Dallas. It's a root beer based onion ring. It's super fucking delicious. Happy hour all day Sundays. They've got a lot of cool stuff. And on their happy hour, $2 off beers. Everything's craft beer.
Yeah, that's what we're enjoying today is the happy hour, $2 off beer, and we got it's not even happy hour price. It's $11 Lone Star pitchers.
$11 Lone Star pitcher, $2.75 a glass if you guys want to break that down with the math.
Right, and that happy hour extends to stuff like sliders, $1 off.
Yeah, I think I got four sliders for like $3.
It's a good deal. So come on out to check out Doghouse in Richardson.
Yeah, Ron, the owner, has been super, super nice with us. In fact, we're going to be setting up some dates we'll be going over with you guys as the season progresses on having some fun times out here because they've got all of the stuff. They've got cornhole, and then outside they have a patio area that extends out into a nice little field area almost. It would be perfect for wiffle ball.
So you know what's not a mistake is broadcasting from Doghouse. You know what is a mistake, Chase?
There's been a lot of mistakes.
Miguel Cabrera,
yes. Miggy.
Miggy is not himself a mistake, but he has made some mistakes, and it seems like he's has a little regret that he's probably going to be paying $20,000 a month to for child support.
Yeah. So the layman's term would be
careful there.
Yeah, would be he had a mistress. Had a father to 2 kids, had a whole nother life going on elsewhere. It was all in the USA Today.
Yeah.
If you want to hear it from the other terms, be sure and tune in March 12th as they will be airing the story on Jerry Springer, as that is the type of shit it sounds like it is.
I think this is just run-of-the-mill, hey, we have a woman in another town kind of thing.
Yeah, and apparently
he didn't
something I learned and listened to.
Proper care.
Right. And there's been a lot of people on the news and in the news that have said this type of behavior isn't shocking in Venezuela as it would be here in America.
I'm saying that even in America, it's not really that shocking.
Yeah, but it's having a side piece isn't as much of a thing. It's more accepted as long as
I mean more of like, hey, if you turn around and watch the NBA, which of those guys has 10 kids? Like, pick a guy on the field, the court.
I bet that
might be one.
What's that new guy that plays
Luka
for the Mavs?
Doncic, because he's a random white guy from Czechoslovakia. Or whatever.
Is that his name?
Durka.
With the guy from the Mavs, the Russian.
We have Luka.
Yeah. Okay. And then probably
he
Dirk.
is a total ladies man, but I don't think he has a random mistress.
Probably
He's 19
Dirk.
years old, guys.
What was it? Ben Collison for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Sean Bradley. Are you seeing a theme that's going along with this, guys? All former tall white guys that played for the Mavs. They don't have this. That was where we were going with that.
Whatever. Okay.
Birdman, though, that white dude, he had that 16-year-old girl. He ended up on Catfish.
Was he even white? He had so many tattoos he wasn't even white anymore.
He was more like green. But anyways, Miggy $20,000 had a side piece that got his money, and that's how it looks like it's going to be. And it's something I don't think anybody would have expected from Miggy. Miggy's always that smiling, fun-loving guy, but apparently he's a smiling, fun-loving guy with 2 different women with 2 different sets of kids. So.
Right. All right, so we've digressed a little bit, but hey, let's say, look, we're 5 minutes into this. It's January 26th, and it's been a little while. Was it the full year ago that we were at Texas Live? Was it in December? I can't properly remember.
Yes, it was in December.
So it's been about a month. This is a kind of cold stove action. There's no hot stove in the MLB anymore off season. I was looking back at my old notes. our first attempt at recording episode 50 was actually in November. Yes. So the entire span of the offseason, we've gone with no Bryce Harper, who headlines the offseason for this year, right? No Bryce Harper signing, no Craig Kimbrell, right?
But honestly,
so there's just, it's gone on and on and on, and we're looking at 3 weeks before spring training, and that's what we're going to get into in a bit, this is just not exciting baseball fans. It's just a permanent holding pattern. So, we're doing it. We're trying to keep the baseball info going. We're trying to keep podcasting, but there's not much to talk about.
Last season, compared to last season, I feel like it's
like 10% better last season, last season was historical, and everybody didn't know what the fuck to do.
Yeah,
because nobody was getting signed.
Well, and last year, you had, I believe it was Hosmer that kind of kicked things off. It was actually during the Jessica Kleinschmidt episode that all of that was going on. So, but this year, you've got 4 big names left. You've got Bryce Harper, Manny Machado. Those are your 2 big ones.
Right.
You've got Dallas Keuchel, who still hasn't signed.
Yeah.
And you've got Craig Kimbrell.
Yeah.
Pretty much everybody, for the most part, there are still a few relief pitchers out there. There still are a few starting pitchers, but nobody having those names like that. So
plenty of options on the lower end of the salary spectrum. Of course, plenty of.
But all your names. Andrew Millers and all of those guys, those are gone. Sonny Gray off to the Reds.
Incredible.
Yeah, Sonny Gray to the Reds. The Reds, L.A. there for a minute here in the past few weeks. They were unloading everybody. They sent Puig, a few other players there in December, January. They sent them off to Cincinnati, and everybody thought, oh, here we go. It's Machado or Harper or both. And now they've done these small signings. You can tell they're not going with the Bryce Harper idea because they signed A.J. Pollock for, $20 million a year?
Right. Yeah. I'm trying to look at that actually right now. I was trying to pull up the A.J. Pollock. 5 years, Jeff Passan, free agent, A.J. Pollock, agreement with the Dodgers. 5 years, $60 million. So actually more like 13 mil. Yeah, 12 mil.
Well, it's probably front end loaded, so he's probably going to get 20 of
range, that. 60 million plus range. So in that $12 to $15 a year range, which is not crazy. AJ Pollock's pretty good.
Yeah.
So this is just one of those things that we're gonna hop into. In a few.
That's what's happening right now. Is ownership is going with this whole new school thought process where you're paid on projection, not what you've done, because they know they have a multi-billion-dollar industry. They grew last year with the prices, even though watching was down, which they have an argument. There was 18 or 21 games postponed last April because of weather.
Right.
So I think they're going to try to work that out. So you've got ownership who is trying to hold out. They held out last year with Arrieta with the Phillies. Got his prices down. They got a lot of players' prices down, and you're not seeing it anymore. Everybody's doing these, 2 and 3 year deals. There's only 8 teams that have signed a 3-year deal that's more than 3 years on a deal. 8 teams this offseason.
8 individual players or 8 teams?
8
plus
teams
multiple,
have signed deals with people that are 3 years or more.
And that essentially that says that only 8 teams feel like they're contenders.
There's still 4 teams that haven't signed anybody.
Right. Yeah.
The Rangers have actually signed quite a bit. When I was looking through on MLB.com, they had the transactions. They signed a lot. They did a couple of deals.
The Lance deal was not small at all, really.
No. It was overpriced.
It was a mid to high level tier for all the pitchers when you compare pitchers. But, essentially Lance Lynn and a bunch of random guys like Drew Smiley. A bunch of the Rangers know that, this next year they just want to be remotely competitive and not drive away every single fan, right?
Right, because you've got to build. You've got a
the point is building. To not have 50 wins and be at the Orioles. That's the goal for next year, but you got to do it on a budget. And the Rangers clearly have a plan.
They only won 67 fucking games last season.
Well, right. The point is to do 67 again, basically, and you have to have a few players to do that.
Ranger fans, if you want to know what
because you lost Beltre,
Yeah. If you want to know what your next few seasons look like, go to Barnes & Noble. They have it in all of the stores around here. It's called Astro Ball. And that's what you have to look forward to.
No, but 2020 the goal definitely for 2020 would be, I would say, 75 to 80 wins.
They want to come in and win
2020,
a championship in 2020, and it's not going to fucking happen.
No, 2020 is, we have one more year. As I perceive it all, and I read a lot about, a lot with Jamie Newberg, a lot of all the, what are all the waves of prospects coming up. We got 1 year. We're still on a wait and see for most everyone, the big names in the Rangers system. We wait 1 year. Okay, it's 2020. We got a new stadium, right? We need to be roughly in the picture around 500. We're going to have that first influx of new people, right?
Yeah.
2021 is when it's supposed to show up, like the second wave, and then you have a lot of talent. And then if you can get into the playoffs then, be that wild card contender, 85, 90 wins, right?
Right.
Then that's your target again for 2022 when you hope that third wave is ready. So the Rangers, it's just, hey, we're just biding our time, and there's a lot of signings, kind of like Asdrubal Cabrera, who the Rangers signed for a 1 year deal, $3.5 million.
Yes.
That, in a few years ago, that would be a ridiculous number to think about a guy who has had the same success that he has had. And I do believe that he was formerly a Rangers prospect. He got traded away in the Cliff Lee or Cole Hamels deal or something like that. But so he's back, and he's going to play third base for us, right? I think he can hit just fine. He's a little bit older now, maybe 35. But, they've got... Chase wanted to make jokes about, the Tommy John surgery. The Rangers staff essentially is a bunch of coin flips on, can this guy be even remotely good of a pitcher because he's recovering from Tommy John. I think we have 3 of those on our projected starting 5 rotation. So it's going to be a long year for the Rangers fans, but hopefully it's just one more long year.
Right. Well, and here's the problem too that I'm looking with this is they've got, looking through the Rangers farm system, they've only got 3 players ranked in the top 100.
Yes, that is
You've
true.
Got 85,
you do have to consider
and
that
89.
Yes. You have to consider the Rangers farm system strength is 2 and 3 years away.
It says
so
right now, 2020 and 2021 are where you're at 85,
right.
88, and 89.
Right.
Are your players.
I would say, looking at the top 100 rankings and stuff like that, those are going to heavily tilt towards players who have proved it in the minors, right?
Right.
The Rangers farm system is a lot of guys who have only done half of a season, a short season in Spokane, 1 season in low A. In a year, the Rangers prospects are going to take a major spike upward because you'll finally get to look at their production for more than just half a season.
But look
their
at
prospects. A lot of their top players haven't actually pitched professionally because they were on the deload program that the Rangers did. For high school pitchers that pitched a lot in high school, they did, de-stress their arms. They did a lot of strength and conditioning, mental work, whatever. Yeah. They didn't actually pitch. So there's a lot of really young players that give it a year or two, and those prospects will come up through the overall rankings because they'll finally have data to show. They'll finally have stats. But right now, there's such projections, then you're not going to rank them top 100.
Right. No, and that is one thing. You will see an increase in that. But if we continue along with this whole, Astro Ball, if you will, like the new term that's being coined with that.
Speaking of Rangers, we got you can't see that one, but there's a bunch of them. Guzman is at the Mavs game. Whatever. He's got the hair.
Yeah,
Condor.
They don't have anything else to do. They ain't like they're working on fucking baseball. So, no, the Astros, though, still, with everything going on, they still got 6 players that haven't been up. 2 of them in the top 10. They have a number 7 and an 8. And then they got, spaced out throughout 40, 60, 81, 97.
Who are those guys? What do they play?
They've got 4 pitchers and 2 outfield. But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Right. No, I mean, Rangers absolutely. Their farm is better.
Right.
The Yankees farm is better. The Astros farm is good. But the Rangers farm has the potential to be viewed as almost as good in 1 to 2 years.
Right, and I think that's one thing Ranger fans need to look at is when Beltre retired, which they're going to retire his number this season.
Yes.
They need to look at that.
Apparently it's happening in June.
That was the death.
Chuck Morgan said.
Yeah. That was the death of an era.
Yeah.
You have Andrews, who's around, who was productive during that time. You just look stupid. But
Joey Gallo was explicitly asked about leadership in the Rangers clubhouse with Beltre gone, and he mentioned Elvis Andrews.
Yeah.
As being
Elvis was set up in that role to learn from Beltre to be.
You wanted to trade him last year.
Elvis?
Yeah.
Because I want better prospects.
Dang.
I think we're down the line. I think there's enough veteran people that they picked up for this season. I think we have enough people who are coming through. You have Cabrera who could do it. He speaks Spanish. That's the fucking problem. If we're going to pull a Philadelphia Phillies.
How's that going to be a leader in your clubhouse when you sign him to a 1-year deal late in the offseason?
You only need him to sign. I think they need to bring Lance Berkman back, but who's going to listen to me? No. But no, I think they could have gotten, a lot better of a deal than what they have. They were in a 3-deal trade with the Rays and...
3-team...
Yeah, 3-team trade with the Rays and who else?
The A's.
Yeah, and the A's.
Well, they got Brock Burke, who people absolutely love.
Yeah. So they've got
a left-handed pitcher.
They've got some potential that came out of that.
You're talking about Profar. You didn't actually say the Profar trade, but yeah.
Yeah, Profar gone. The Rays didn't really pick up anything.
And they got two or three other people.
Yes.
Some relievers that have potential. There's in all of those trades in the last year or two, there's a lot of names that could end up with the Rangers in 2 years.
Right. And the Rangers, although their farm system 5 years ago was top of the line, everybody, it was the top. It was top farm.
It was viewed as tops, and that was mainly led by Profar's number one status.
You want to tell me that we have an 85, 88, and 89 as your top prospects, and that's the highest they've had in 3 years.
I get that. Yes, it was from a peak, and we traded away from that peak.
Right. So
we're rebuilding to that peak again.
Ranger fans need to see this as the death of an era, and you're going to
it's a new era.
You're going to go through 3 or 4 shit fucking years.
Well, last year was the shit year, and next year is the shit year.
So you've got 2 more after this. You got 2 more after this in a stadium you're not going to feel because the Rangers were so accustomed, and Rangers fans were so accustomed to...
We've had a good team for a long time, yes. Yeah. And last year was kind of shitty.
Kinda.
Right. Look, we weren't the Orioles. I want to actually put shitty down at the bottom where the Orioles were.
Yeah. But I mean, I think you learned that Jeff Bannister should never manage another fucking team ever.
Jeff Bannister's just fine.
Now he's a special assistant to some GM over in Pittsburgh.
He's got him a landing spot still.
There you go.
He's still valuable.
He's pouring coffee.
I don't think he's pouring coffee, Chase. Anyway, Chase doesn't like Jeff Bannister. That's old news. I think halfway through, there's going to be the reinforcements are arriving halfway through the 2020 season. I think you just have to have those little moments of excitement. You have to have Joey Gallo hitting 45 home runs. You have to have, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa looking good. You have to have Guzman coming up in first base. Just little bits keep people interested, like me at least. That's going to bring me to the ballpark with the new AC. And looks nice and stuff. That's going to be the kind of thing that even though it's not a great year, there might be a new pitcher, whatever.
So Eric Nadel fans need to know that we're probably going to have 2 more books come out.
We're going to have a bunch of limericks because we're going to be bored.
Because that's what we're going to have to look forward to.
Speaking of that field, though, as Chase called it, the vegan-friendly field.
The vegan-friendly field, yeah. They're going to have a vegan turf field.
At Globe Life. The rumors strongly point to the fact that natural grass is probably not a realistic option. They've been talking about trying it. They want to do it. It seems like the Rangers Globe Life Field is going to be a synthetic turf. And it might be a synthetic turf with some random coconuts thrown in the sod.
Coconut husk and sand.
The point is you have to replicate the give of grass, right? And that's impossible. But you put the typical turf is filled in with like rubber pellets.
Right.
The thing is like, hey, maybe we can do even better. all these testing, blah, 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 these companies do for their turfs, apparently coconut and sand is a good combination.
I want to know why they're not going to be able to do it with a place that the roof can stay open most of the time.
Right. I know.
Miller Park grows it inside, and the Miller Park guy that's over the grounds.
You want to talk about Miller Park?
We'll bring that up here in just a minute. But the guy that runs, that's over the field and turf coordinator for the Milwaukee Brewers, he was on MLB Network about 2 years ago.
Okay.
That said it's like growing grass at airplane hangar.
Okay.
They have no sun in there. It's cold as fuck all year round.
Right.
And they can make grass. A lot of people have said that it's because of Houston, because Houston's grass is hard as a rock.
Right.
And it's concrete underneath. They can.
Well, to be honest, right, it is. It's not only just
22 ballparks.
If you ever look at the yards in North Texas in the middle of summer, most of them are just toast.
Yeah.
Because it's too sunny. It's too dry.
Well, you know what's great about a retractable roof?
Obviously, you get to irrigate that. And you have a roof over it. But when you're trying to grow the grass without the roof, maybe you're... Anyway.
I'm not a botanist, but I have a pretty good fucking idea that 22 other fuckers have done this shit, and they've made it work. You've got Tropicana and you've got the Rogers Center. Rogers was playing on fucking carpet until about 10 years ago. Yeah. And the turf there in Tampa Bay, you might as well just play in dog shit.
Yeah, they just really don't... Players can feel it. It's the same thing with injuries in the NFL on synthetic fields. It's just... It hurts your legs and your back more.
I mean, here's the thing, guys.
So that's a disadvantage.
Think about this ownership. How many games, how many series have gone to Toronto or to Tampa Bay? I know they're out of your division.
Yeah.
How many of those games were you playing your prime players? If you weren't in a contention spot, Adrian Beltre played one game in the field.
Right.
Half a game DH'd. So that's what your plan is?
No, it's not a great idea.
No. So going back to the Miller thing, Miller Park after 2021 or 2020, come 2021 will no longer be Miller Park.
Within a year,
yeah. So it's fucking stupid. Miller and Milwaukee.
Yeah, they're not doing the naming rights.
No, they're done.
And the Brewers team organizations themselves can't seem to work a deal. And they went with the money from American Family Insurance?
Yes, they do a lot of advertising.
I mean, that's great. We've got Globe Life Field. That's an insurance company.
Right.
But our team name is not the Brewers. You have to have a beer sponsor name.
Oh, yeah. How about PBR Field?
Pretty fucking straightforward.
Yeah.
You can't be the Milwaukee Brewers not playing at Miller Field.
I know. It makes no sense.
It makes no sense. You can't. Why are you the Brewers anymore? You should be the insurance salesman. You could be the unicorns if you wanted. The Rumble Ponies. I don't know. What else does Milwaukee have? You can have cheese heads. You can have some new cheese curds. You can have some dairy farmers. You can have some corn and
what about
wheat
fields? Would you be okay with Cheez It Field?
That's fine, but that would be a new company. You could just call it the Wisconsin.
To me, not having a beer name there in Milwaukee, unless it's not like
the Wisconsin
municipal
Dairy Farmers of Milwaukee,
right?
Playing at American Insurance Field, that's fine.
Because I believe the old one was Municipal Stadium or something like that.
If it's gonna be the Brewers, it needs to be Miller Park.
I mean, it would almost be like saying after the 2020 season, Bob Uecker's not going to be there. But I will say that over the past few seasons, American Family Insurance has been doing a shit ton of advertising with.
They're going to try to smooth all that over.
I'm not trying to smooth anything over.
They're going to try to smooth it over.
There's a lot of money that goes into it.
It's going to be they should have thought about that.
They're just trying
when they tried to get their name out.
So going on to stadiums, we do have this season coming up.
What's next? Wrigley Field?
Wrigley will never change.
Wrigley's about to change. It's going to be the next whatever the hell.
Wrigley and
Blue Cross Blue Shield
Fenway, Yankee
insurance.
Wrigley, Fenway, Yankee, they're never going to change. They're always going to be there.
Well, Miller shouldn't be changing either.
It shouldn't, but, you have to get with the times. There's two other changes.
Next, the Rockies aren't going to play at Coors Field.
AT&T Park is gone. Safeco's gone. It's now T-Mobile.
What is AT&T Park changed? You're saying the Giants?
Yeah, the Giants are changing. I can't remember which one they're
Whatever.
changing.
They've got the Cowboys at AT&T.
Right. So, no, they have that. But one thing I think will be interesting to see is are there going to be any MLB teams in ownership that jump on what is going on in Atlanta next week? So we're recording this on Sunday.
As in the Super Bowl.
As in the Super Bowl. I don't know if any of the people here, I'm sure most people follow something about with the Super Bowl. The Falcons organization and Mercedes-Benz Stadium, I believe, is that what it is?
Yeah.
They are not raising prices, and they're not doing, price gouging with the stadium concessions.
At the Super Bowl.
$5 draft beers, $2 hot dogs, $2 nachos. They're doing this price.
That has been their whole season's pricing structure, and they're not doing it.
They're not going to up it. They're not going to do anything.
Particular.
They're going to keep this pricing low, and I wonder if that's going to be a trend we see across sports.
Look, that's great and all, but the people, why not? The people who go to the Super Bowl are executives mostly.
Right.
I don't know. You can charge whatever the hell, and they're just going to charge the company.
Yep.
So I don't know. I guess
I think it'd be interesting to see though if there's going to be.
They're just working on the goodwill side of it all.
Well, I mean, maybe they're working on the fact that it's in fucking Atlanta, and maybe they did one of those boys and girls clubs giveaway. I don't know.
I don't really know what you mean by that, sir.
Poor people. The Atlanta Hawks the Atlanta Hawks owner had to sell off his shit because of his comment about we've got to raise the prices because the black people are buying the tickets and they're scaring away our season ticket owners.
I don't remember.
That was right after the L.A. Clippers guy made his comments. It kind of got overshadowed by the whole L.A. Clippers thing. I thought the one in the Atlanta Hawks was way funnier than the one in L.A.
Donald Sterling.
But yeah, I thought, but no, I think it's something that it might be interesting to see if that's going to happen because last time we went to the fucking Rangers game, I think I had to take a loan out the next day.
Well, that sounds like some irresponsibility on your own end.
Sounds like Jack and Coke Ices, which, by the way, Doghouse does have Jack and Coke Ices here.
Oh, dang. Why do we not have one right now?
You go order a Jack Frost.
What's the bartender's name?
Her name's Amy.
Amy?
Amy, yeah.
All right. Hey, Amy. Cool. Give us a minute.
Yeah, Amy can bring herself up a Jack Frost, and that's the great thing about here at the old Doghouse Beer Garden. Yeah, we've been working on these Lone Stars because Corey had to write everything down and then scribble on there. Whatever.
Yeah, fuck me for wanting to actually get things right
fuck
for once.
Fuck him for wanting to make show notes.
All right, so we're going to move along. We're going to talk about the get back into the whole off-season hot stove, cold stove stuff. But we do want to just say thank you to all our listeners. Again, this is really rolling into year 3. We're looking at February coming up, and we've got a lot planned. We are working on scheduling actively with Emily Jones, actively with Chuck Morgan, with Jared Sandler. We've got a lot of scheduled things coming up. We are working very hard at scheduling a road trip to spring training in Surprise, Arizona. A lot planned for the show. So we're glad for every single person who's listened to us and followed us on social media. And we think that you should share it with your friends and tell them all about it because, you can help us grow the show.
Oh, yes. It's all about you guys. And we're back. We had some technical difficulties there for a minute. We're back with all of our shows back on everywhere that we were at to begin with. So, very easy to find us. We also got coldbeersandcurveballs.com. So you can come there, find all of that. We'll have news and events and updates like that. So one thing that you guys will need to look out for is we'll be out at Party at the Yard every fucking time. Yeah, that's going to be a thing that you're going to hear a lot about this year is Party at the Yard. It's basically the best Thursday night event, in all of North Texas. Frisco Rough Riders, the outfield, we're going to be, helping provide that entertainment. They do have a DJ, which nobody listens to, but whatever, fuck them. $1 Dallas Bonds, right? Yeah. It was $1 Dallas Bonds last year. Is that Corey and I sat down with the people at Party at the Yard not too long ago. They said they don't know really who the beer sponsor is going to be this year. It could still be them. It hasn't been confirmed. They did confirm the whole pricing thing. You can actually get a season pass now for a reduced price. The Patty Pass. Yeah. And you can get the VIP, which I didn't know this until reading about it last year. VIP is in the lazy river, so you can float around with all the honeys. Well, yes, exactly. And it's all you can eat. Right. They got a grill going out there? They got a grill going out there. They got grilled chicken sandwiches, some nachos. You hear all got fucking hot dogs. Grilled chicken today.
Gosh.
I've been eating so many goddamn burgers.
But yeah, no, the Frisco Rough Riders have an awesome stadium, an awesome field, Dr. Pepper Ballpark, and an awesome atmosphere on Thursday nights. We are going to be a part of that all the time, and so we hope you can join us out there. Join the show, join the environment, come out, bring your friends, have a good time. We're going to be having a good time out there. We also anticipate being at Doghouse a lot in the coming years. So that's just,
Actually, before we got here to record,
look forward,
talking to Ron, the owner, before Corey got in here, and definitely some plans for out here on this little square that they have. It's kind of an extension of the patio with cornhole. They got a little bit of some grass out here that would be great for pickup wiffle ball, things like that for us to play, especially after you've been drinking $11 Lone Star pitchers. It doesn't get any better than that.
Right. This is a patio where you do have to watch, say, don't break your phone screen.
It is
some experience with that. So
it is concrete, so you have to be careful. But no, I mean, yes. And the big thing right now that we are working with is the spring training trip, where we will be live streaming that whole fucking thing.
Streaming, going out there, Facebook Live, Instagram, Periscope, everything heading out. You're going to be in the car with us if you're watching along. We're going to be in Arizona.
There is a chance that somebody could go for the whole goddamn thing.
Somebody could. We're going to, set up out there. We're going to be under a tent. We're going to interview people. We're going to podcast from out there. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
So
it will be a lot of fun.
The first or second week of March.
Corey wanted to pull a Kim Kardashian deal. Wanted to fly out there. Said, "Fuck no, not for our fans. We're fucking driving it."
Is that
we're going to take the trip?
Thing
yeah, he was being all like bitchy and shit, and like, "Oh, let's fly. I
don't think that's really how that went down. But anyway, we appreciate our new Instagram followers, Facebook followers. We've got
Twitter followers
up to about 1,000. Did we hit 1,000 though?
I don't think we hit 1,000 yet.
950 on Instagram. So that's the other thing, is you just tell a couple of people or share a little something. That can help us get over that hump to 1,000. That feels good. We hope you feel good because you're helping us out with that. So I think now it's pretty much Tebow time, because we got to talk some Mets.
Our God is greater, our God is stronger, God, you are higher than any other. Our God is healer, awesome in power, our God.
And that means it is Tim Tebow time, brought to you by our great friends running the campaign for spring training, Indiegogo.
They are running the campaign.
Yes, for
Are
Indiegogo.
we running a campaign?
We are running
Indiegogo's running a campaign.
I think we're running a campaign through Indiegogo, but definitely be checking that out. Yeah.
Stay tuned. That's all we got for you.
Stay tuned on that. But no,
I don't think this is how Tim Tebow time goes.
Tim Tebow finally got a fucking sponsor. That's what happened.
He got sponsored by Indiegogo.
Tim Tebow has officially been given an invite to Mets camp.
Yes.
So if you think about it and think of Mets camp as kind of, your holiday time, everybody's got that one aunt that found Jesus, and she wants everybody else to find the same radical Jesus she found holding some snakes at a weird church. That's going to be Tim Tebow with the dysfunction in the Osborne-esque family that has always been the New York Metropolitans.
Yeah, but they're really trying to change it.
They're really trying to change. It doesn't matter. You can try to make a whore a housewife. It doesn't always happen.
Wow, that's one way to look at it.
I mean, that's what I've always heard.
All right.
Been there, done that.
Look, the Mets have a new GM.
Yes.
Brody Van Wagenen.
Yeah, I don't trust that shit.
It's not a real, like, John Smith, it rolls off the tongue kind of thing. The Mets named him GM in late October. And there's a good article on The Athletic detailing a lot of the hires he's made. And how, but the main thing is that he looked at the Mets and saw the dysfunctional, shitty organization that they were, and he said, "Look, this can't continue."
Well, and one thing is his background.
He does have a
he's a sports agent.
Agent, I don't know.
He's an agent, so he was for the player.
Yes.
So, and I think that's what they're trying to bring in we're going to be all about you now. You be all about us. Kind of that, the guy that owns Virgin Mobile.
Richard Branson.
Who, he has that famous quote where, your focus shouldn't be the customer, it should be the employee, because the employee is what gives the customer the experience. If you treat your employees well, it'll treat your customers well. Your customers will come back. It's a revolving door, basically. Right. And I feel like that's really what the Mets have focused on by hiring a guy who's looking out for the best interest of the player
and just trying to create a really positive organizational, feeling. Allard Baird is one of those guys who was hired on to be vice president and assistant general manager in scouting and player development. A convoluted title, to be sure, but there's just a lot of new faces in the Mets organization. I think their ownership is supporting this whole change, and I think they still do have some talent. I think that's the amazing thing is when you have players with skill and you take them out of a situation that's negative and you put them in a situation that's positive, all of a sudden you can see those wins start piling up. Whereas before, they didn't have the motivation, they didn't have the team chemistry to make it happen. So the Mets are going to try to contend, and we're going to see how this whole experiment goes with that new GM in town. Hopefully, as I was pointing out to Chase, they have a new training staff, because that was a
they also don't have. I don't know if it was the training staff.
That was a laughing stock of the league.
It was, and they also had Terry fucking Collins, who told Jonas Cespedes to go out there and play while he had a fucking torn hamstring.
Right, and with Noah Syndergaard and his he was trying to recover from things, and he seemed to be oft injured, and it seemed to be a terrible mismanagement from the whole. Injury recovery, doctors, training staff, all that.
I blame the fans for calling Syndergaard Thor. I feel like that's
he probably likes Thor.
Yeah, and I think that's why he went and tried to get all jacked, and that's why he couldn't fucking pitch.
Yeah, well, if you want to get jacked, you got to do it the right way.
Yeah, well, you shouldn't be jacked as a pitcher. Look at CC Sabathia. Look how long he's lasted. Look at Bartolo Colon. How long have they lasted?
46 years for Bartolo
46
Colon.
Fucking years for Bartolo Colon. He's still pitching.
I mean,
they're both fat asses. I sat around with CC Sabathia last weekend. Fucking ate a whole bucket of chicken.
Whatever. I think that's it for the Mets. Maybe they will give us something worth talking about this year, and they won't be a shit show.
Man, they gave us everything that was worth talking about the past 2 seasons.
You got mad a lot at them.
Oh, because they're fucking idiots.
Yeah, well, anyway.
And if there's 2 things I love and hate at the same time, it's fucking idiots.
All right, like we were talking about before, this has been an off-season, a frustrating off-season for a lot of players.
It's been the new era of off-seasons.
Yes, the new era of off-season started last year, where hot stove officially turned into cold stove, and there is months and months of no action, basically. And so here we are again, turning the page into 2019, and there is still very little action, and you go a week and nothing happens, and then you get one signing. You go a week and somebody talks about a trade. You go a week, it just doesn't have the same energy. It doesn't have the same feeling. There's 3 weeks until spring training, and Bryce Harper doesn't have a team. He is one of the most well-known, if not the most well-known player in all of professional baseball in the entire world.
Right.
He doesn't have a team. You know what builds excitement for your new team? I don't know. Putting together a projected starting lineup that includes Bryce Harper.
Exactly.
You know what doesn't? When nobody knows if they're going to get Bryce Harper. So, this is the thing is, yes, the owners, they're making money. The teams, they have their philosophies. They're going to tank or they're not. They're contenders or not. But there are teams missing out so thoroughly on the excitement, the fan excitement, the ticket sales that can come with an off-season full of hope when you sign a big free agent. And nobody's taking advantage of that. It's just, when you think about off-season action, you know who does it right? I know you hate the NBA, but when in the off-season, NBA signings and NBA trade deadline generates a lot of buzz.
Oh, yeah.
MLB, we've stretched it from October to January, the end of January, and there has never been a sustained buzz. There has been, okay, Patrick Corbin here, AJ Pollock here. That's 2 basic names, and nobody knows them because they came from the Diamondbacks.
So do you think they need to?
It's just a bunch of talk about, hey, there's an offer from for Machado. There's an offer for Harper.
Right.
There's an offer for here. There's no offers for Dallas Keuchel. Oh, some pitcher signed here. It's a lot of nothing. And it's really dragging on players 2 years in a row, and it's really dragging on fans 2 years in a row.
Well, I will say, though, this goes along with signing and hot stove. There was one big signing for MLB.
Okay.
So, as many people knew, people who follow, the gear side of things, the partnerships and stuff with MLB, Under Armour signed a big deal to come in 2020 to do uniforms.
So after
after this coming season,
so they get to do all uniforms?
We're doing all of the uniforms.
Oh, dang.
So they also had all the footwear.
Yeah.
This last week, 2 days ago, Under Armour pulled out from MLB. And Nike jumped in, and they're going to be the official uniform and footwear supplier starting in 2020 for 10 years.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people don't think anything about that. They now own all three major markets.
You're saying NBA, NFL, and baseball.
MLB. Only but the major four they don't have in the U.S. is hockey, and they signed a big deal with Adidas this past season.
Right. There's a lot of like college basketball, college football that has Adidas, but definitely, I don't know, what is Under Armour doing if you can't have any of those major players?
Makes you start to wonder if maybe they've
all you've got is Oregon.
However they're doing.
No, okay, sorry.
They have
classic Nike.
Yeah, they have Maryland, they have Notre Dame, they have quite a few schools. But this was going to be Under Armour's big leap into really banging it out with Nike and Adidas.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, about 4 days ago, done. And they lost their footwear deal when they did it.
They're going to be fourth place in a 3-team race,
Exactly. So now, 10 years in partnership, Major League Baseball will be signing with Nike. That is one signing. But no, like you were saying, we're 3 weeks away. We've got pitchers and catchers reporting February 13th and 14th. Dallas Keuchel and Craig Kimbrell don't have a home to report to on the 13th or 14th.
Right.
Bryce Harper and Manny Machado don't have a home to report to the next week.
February 23rd or something like that. It's just a very... So to quote Sean Doolittle, he's a pitcher for the Nationals.
Who?
Sean Doolittle.
Who?
He's got 90,000 more followers on Twitter than we do.
Oh,
so
that's Sean Doolittle.
Let's just roll with them.
Gotcha.
Okay. So somebody shared a little thing. What's your baseball pet peeve? Idiots say things like the DH. Other people say, okay, like he does. Okay, it's 3 weeks from spring training, and there are still over 100 unsigned free agents, including some of the biggest names like Manny Machado and Bryce Harper in our sport. That's his baseball pet peeve. He's looking at median baseball salaries. They've fallen for 4 straight years. Salaries are falling while revenues are up. That doesn't make players happy because that means their portion of the pie is going down. There are plenty of teams that can afford Bryce Harper and can reap the benefits from it from their fan base. MLB revenue sharing is a ton, and this is a very a weird system that's happening is that the MLB is making a lot of money off of, your TV deals, etc., right? Even though ballpark attendance has dropped a little bit for a couple years, the revenue is still there. So a team is getting lots of money from MLB revenue sharing regardless of how good they do.
Oh, yeah.
Because generally, your ballpark ticket sales do depend pretty heavily on how good your team is.
Right.
But the teams and the owners can still make a lot of money regardless of if their team is good because the league as a whole is healthy.
Yes.
But
the
league is healthy because the Dodgers, the Yankees, the Red Sox are great.
And yeah.
The league is healthy because players like Bryce Harper are entertaining and good and fans enjoy that.
And
but here again,
the whole thing with the Yankees,
we have no Bryce Harper with a team.
Right, and you have the reincarnation of the Bash brothers in the Yankees with Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton. That is, and one thing I will say that they are doing way better than the NFL is they're starting to get into the streaming. They started doing the one Facebook Live game a week. They're starting to look at, we've got to reach a younger demographic. How are we doing that? And it just comes in with the pace of play. It comes in with all of this new stuff. There was another article I was reading where independent league tried a new format, and it was a 9-inning game in 90 minutes. A 9-inning game in 90 minutes. Players that were playing in this independent league that had MLB experience, had, a lot of them played in the big leagues, they played in the minor leagues. They said this was the most fun and the most competitive way they've ever played baseball. So I think it's somewhere here. I mean, even being out at Frisco at Party at the Yard, I started to notice they have that pitch clock out there.
Yeah.
I started watching that. I thought that was very interesting and intriguing.
Those rule changes are going through the minors first and being, implemented. The minor league
visits to the mound now
had the whole so those were all tested out, and
there's even been here's how bad here's what they're thinking. Offensive baseball is what sells.
Right.
That's the mindset. They are contemplating, and the way that we work players and pitchers now, you can't do it. Limiting relief pitchers to try to build. Basically, let's let these fuckers throw their arm out by the third inning, fourth inning. They'll get tired. That'll create more offensive production, and they can't go to their bullpen.
Right. Yeah, no, it's just the relief pitches are clearly a big shift in the game. Starters are devalued. Teams are trying to build their bullpen more than ever before.
Well, because now they've taken a whole idea. You have a team that's having an opener.
All these pitchers are equal weight. We can get a lot of innings from our starters, but we can get more important innings from some of these relievers.
They've changed it so much. You don't have the pitchers anymore that are true starting pitchers who will give you 6 innings.
You do have some, but it's kind of the upper echelon only.
Yeah. And they're phasing out.
The main thing to get the heart of the matter is that what Sean Doolittle is saying is that he's essentially speaking for the frustrations that a lot of players are feeling. So players are frustrated that teams aren't spending money because that's their salaries. Players are frustrated that only 3 teams have a payroll of above $206 million. That's the luxury tax threshold. It's not a salary cap, but the teams and owners are treating it like a salary cap, and they're not wanting to go above it, even though the only penalty is just a luxury tax you pay extra on every dollar, but no team wants to stay up there, even though a team like the Red Sox won the World Series by doing that. They instantly want to come back down. The Yankees want to come back down.
Right.
There's 9 teams. That's a third of the league has a payroll of under $106 million. We're talking half of what other teams are spending. The top payrolls, the luxury tax threshold is $206 million. 9 teams, a third of the league, is about $100 million. That is such a huge disparity, and it's basically until you get it right with your building your farm system, which not every team can do. Sometimes you make mistakes. Then they're not going to spend in free agency until they feel like their farm is super, super strong.
See, and here's the thing, and I can argue this with you. You have this.
I can see both ways, but
you have this luxury tax here, $206 million. You've got these 9 teams that are under $106 million.
Yeah.
So you've got small market teams.
Right.
Until you can even the playing field.
Usually, small market is seen as 4 or 5 teams. And even small market teams are able. It's still profitable for them to spend $130 million in payroll.
Right.
But when they're spending $80 million.
Right.
Actually.
So why not? I mean, for the betterment of the game and to make things truly competitive, set the salary cap lower. Oh, wait, because players want to be paid. I forgot that's why you can't do that.
Well, no, I think the need is for a salary floor.
Yes.
I think essentially what you're hearing you're hearing things from Scott Boras, who a big agent name, and his things he says kind of matter a tiny bit because he's such a big name in baseball. Agent for Bryce Harper and such. So he talks about, hey, we need if you're going to be the Orioles and winning 40-something games, 50-something games, it's such a terrible product. There should be a way to penalize something that's that bad, where you say, hey, you don't get the top 3 picks, you don't get the top 5 picks, you need to actually win 65 to 70 games. You got ideas like that. Just like there's a lot of ideas, and we'll see. Like I would say, maybe there's going to be something there's going to be a compromise. Guys like Tony Clark, he's the player's rep. He's talking with Manfred these days. And we're talking about things about the pitch clock. We're talking about mound visits. We're talking about pace of play. We're talking about the shift. Do we need to say that there's only a certain number of people on one side of the diamond? Because baseball can be improved. I think people are agreeing on that there can be an improvement to be had. There needs to be little baby steps taken, and not just to forget about everything, because players are frustrated with it all, and there might be a lockout or a strike in a couple of years.
2021, you could see Corey and I on a Major League Baseball field in a town near you,
because there's going to be no players.
There's going to be no players.
I don't think that's really how that works, but it's just it's a league-wide. It's not just random one-offs. There's a lot of underlying things that need to get addressed.
Yes.
Whether it is just entertainment value, or whether it's actually on the team level, whether it's collusion between the owners. There's a lot of stuff that needs to be worked out.
I don't think pace of play as much. Football still takes 3 hours to get through a fucking game.
Yeah, and actually, I think 2.5 hours is totally fine for a baseball game.
Yeah. We've been at Party at the Yard,
right,
where it's been shut down early.
Yeah.
Because they're telling us, hey, no more beers. It's the 7th inning, and I'm like, what? It's the 7th inning? They've been here for an hour and a half.
Right. You can't. Things can't go so fast that you can't really sit back and enjoy things, and you feel like you're going to miss things if you get up to go to the bathroom. Right. You can't go that fast.
Soccer to me is the least competitive as far as watching a competition on the field. I know it's nonstop action. We'll put quotes around nonstop action. But it's still 90 minutes of them playing and a 25-minute half.
Right.
Halftime. So you're sitting there for, an hour and a half of them playing plus a 25-minute. You're at almost 2 hours there.
Yeah.
And to me, there's more action at a baseball game because you have where they switch sides. So you get little entertainment breaks. You get breaks to get up. You get to take the kids out. It's easy to, corral a kid at a baseball game.
Yeah.
I've taken Emily, and she's 1.5 years old. I took her last season to 2 games. It was very easy to keep her attention.
Right.
She was having fun. So I don't think it is. I think, yes, on TV, baseball can get a little monotonous. I love baseball with all my fucking heart, and I can tell you.
Well, with the wrong announcers, it definitely is tedious.
Right. I watch baseball probably 6 out of the 7 nights.
Yeah.
During the season. And I'll be honest with you, 50% of the nights, I probably take a nap between the 3rd and the 6th inning.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah, it's very much of a, it can be, if it's going to be your pastime, it's going to be just this, it needs to be, you need a voice like Eric Nadel's to help drive that thing. It can't be so long that, you're losing the attention after a little while where it needs to be still a competitive game. It's very much a balance that seems to be just a little bit out of whack lately. But hey, I think it's still a strong product, absolutely. And
I think it's a fucking strong product paying your job.
Baseball's going to be doing just fine, but there's a lot of stuff that could be improved, especially anything that could get off-season signings going a little faster to make fans feel good about their team rather than having to wait 2 months after the World Series, right?
I think implementing something as similar to the NBA, NBA trade deadline, the NBA trading stuff there at the end of the season, I think that could be definitely something that could help kickstart.
I think what it is that in the NBA, you've got so many, a key signing matters so much when you only have 5 players.
Right.
Then that's every single mid to upper tier person gets people so interested because one signing is pretty significant to every single starting 5 in the NBA. And it's just...
Go old school and only pitch one pitcher. That's how we do it.
Right. Hey,
one
guys,
pitcher.
I think we've fizzled a tiny bit, and we've hit 55 minutes, and I think it's time to wrap us up for episode 51.
So, yeah, like we were saying, thanks to all our new followers, new listeners. Be checking us out. Let us know where you find us.
Mm-hmm.
Add us on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter if you're not. Cold Beers and Curveballs for Facebook and Instagram. CB and CB Podcast for Twitter. Be sure and check out coldbeersandcurveballs.com. and we'll be on there for updates and things like that.
Any of those 3 places, especially Instagram and Twitter, send us a message anytime you have a suggestion, anytime you hear something that you want us to talk about, suggestions on the show. Tell us what you want to hear from us. Anything except for fantasy. I'm not going to cover that.
I'll cover fantasy with you.
Whatever. But we would love to hear from you. We're going to get engaged more and more. You're going to find videos on Facebook Live. You're going to find videos on Instagram. Comment, screenshot stuff. Share it around, and we would love that.
Yes, and we also love all the people at Doghouse here in Richardson, Texas. That's going to have us out pretty much. It looks like, for the most part, every week is where we're going to be recording from.
Yeah, thanks to Ron for being a big support on that. They got, again, a lot of good beer, a lot of good hot dogs, basically baseball food.
And a lot of good TVs.
Yeah, lots of TVs. It's a great little spot in Richardson, right next to the highway.
So as always, guys, drink responsibly, watch baseball irresponsibly, and until next time, we'll see you all later.
Songs about a rambling man, put a cold one in my hand, 'cause you know I love to hear those guitar sounds. But don't you play, I'm so lonesome I could cry, 'cause I'll get all